Late one foggy night, a young man named Hiroshi was walking home through a deserted alley in Kyoto. The dim glow of the streetlights barely cut through the mist, and the world seemed unnervingly quiet. As he turned a corner, he saw a woman standing still in the middle of the alley. She wore a long faded beige coat that hung loosely over her slender frame, and her long jet black hair covered much of her face. But what Hiroshi could see was unsettling. Her eyes glimmered faintly under the fringe of her hair, wide and unblinking. She seemed out of place, motionless in the otherwise lifeless street. As Hiroshi approached, the woman tilted her head slightly and asked in a soft, raspy voice, "Am I beautiful?" He froze. The question was strange, but her voice had an almost hypnotic quality. Swallowing his unease, Hiroshi gave a cautious nod. "Yes, you are." The woman reached up and slowly pulled down the mask that had been covering the lower half of her face. Hiroshi's blood ran cold. Her mouth was sliced from ear to ear, a grotesque grin exposing jagged, blood-stained teeth. The skin around the wound was raw and glistening, as though freshly cut. "Even like this?" she asked, her voice now a sinister whisper that seemed to echo unnaturally in the narrow alley. Hiroshi stumbled backward, his instincts screaming at him to run, but his legs felt like lead as her unrelenting gaze bore into him. Before he could muster a reply, she stepped closer, her movements eerily smooth, as if she were gliding over the ground. In a flash, her hand reached for her coat, revealing a pair of long, rusted scissors clutched tightly in her pale fingers. The last thing Hiroshi saw before the darkness claimed him was her twisted, horrifying grin growing impossibly wide and the sound of cold metal snapping shut. In the days that followed, the locals whispered of yet another disappearance in the city, warning others to stay away from the alleys at night. And somewhere, Kuchisake Onna waited, her hunger for fear and flesh never satisfied, always seeking her next victim.